hormones. And the Krishna of those different deities are very dear to many of the humanity, particularly those who follow Sanatana Dharma or Hinduism. Among them, they have varieties of options to choose a personal chosen deity. Many have Sri Krishna as their personal chosen idea. There is a different reason for that. Krishna's whole life is so attractive, so sweet, so educative, so inspiring, so innovating and ennobling us. So that is how Krishna becomes so dear to many Hindus. Many may have worshipped many deities of different forms, but Krishna permeates all. Krishna as the preacher of Gita to mankind, Krishna as the giver of the message to Uddhava as his last message, Krishna as guide and protector of many in the Mahabharata, how he protected Draupadi, how he always was with Arjuna guiding. That gives a sense that Krishna will be always with us. And in difficult times, he will protect us. So in need, he will guide us. And there's many stories of Krishna, as we read in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, Madhusudana Dada, the story of whenever we have full faith in the existence of Krishna as a brother, the poor boy who had nothing but trust in Krishna, Madhusudana, as told by his mother, he could see Krishna walking with him, providing with the things that he needed. The simple faith in Krishna, we will get God. That sort of feeling, that sort of assurance we get in the many stories that we find in the Krishna, whether in the Bhagavata or in the other stories about Krishna from the Mahabharata. He has been a variety of things, young, lovely, naughty boy, to the heartthrob of gopis, to the warrior and protector from the devils, to the friend of Arjuna, keeping the side of justice and doing everything to protect the dharma, dharma sansthapanarthaya, that he's ready to do everything to protect the dharma. That's why I come again and again in different forms, says Sri Krishna in the Gita. Wonderful book for mankind. The Gita is the, as we say, it is the cream of Vedas. It is the Sara, the concise form of Upanishads. And that contains the whole of spiritual teaching, and it's called Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastra. It is philosophy of Brahman, of the Vedanta. And also it is the practical instruction of the yoga. It is philosophy come practical guidance, practical handbook of spirituality, the Gita. So that we get from Sri Krishna, and that too given in the battlefield. We'll be having 4 topics to see, and Krishna from little different angles will all tend to mix because the personality is such. So the first topic of talk today is Krishna, the supreme attraction. Before I begin the talk, I would like to request Buddhadev Guha, who is visiting with me from Toronto, to read something on Krishna. Then I will have my talk. Buddhadev.
This evening, I will read from a book. It's called Sri Krishna, Pastoral and Kingmaker. And it is written, it's 2 talks to Swami Ramakrishnananda, a direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. In Madras, he gave both the talk. And I'm just going to read an excerpt from a talk called The Pastoral. So here Swami Ramakrishna says, if a sincere devotee, honestly believing in the words of his scriptures, believes that his God is the most beautiful of all beautiful things, and so believing, if his incessant prayer to that God is for only a sight of that beautiful form of his, can that God, if he be all powerful and all gracious, remain silent to the prayers of that sincere man? In the Gita, Sri Krishna says, whoever wants me or whoever wants to see me in whatever light or form, I fulfill his desire by assuming that form. And this assertion is exactly compatible with his all gracious nature. Now, therefore, suppose a devotee sees the beautiful form of his beloved. Can he ever imagine turning his eyes away from such beauty? Can he ever like to destroy that beautiful form of his and regard him as formless? No. As an insect gets infatuated by seeing the glory of a burning flame, and will rather die in it than turn itself away from it, so the devotee who is once blessed with the sight of the divinely beautiful form of his God can never imagine thinking him otherwise. He then does not care to know anything about your monism, or qualified monism, dualism, or pluralism, about your knower, knowledge, or known. All your isms and all your philosophies appear to him to be as merely so much prattling, but he enjoys his beloved, forgetting all other concernments, even as a bee sitting upon the bosom of a honey-laden flower drinks the honey and forgets every other bee and every other thing. He does not regard that form of his God as a means to an end, as a step to take him to the brink of shoreless and shapeless infinity, but as an end in itself. Therefore, he naturally regards his God either as his eternal master, or friend, or beloved. Nay, sometimes he looks towards him with an intense affection, such as that of a father or a mother towards his or her dearly beloved child. The shepherds and shepherdess of Sri Vrindavan found such a God in their beloved Sri Krishna. They could not regard him as a human being on account of his supernatural actions, superhuman powers, and extraordinary beauty. So they naturally regarded him as nothing less than God. Yashoda and Nanda regarded this God as their sweet darling, the shepherd boys as their own sweet companion and friend. The young shepherd girls could not help regarding him as their own beloved. The sages, who knew him to be an incarnation of God, regarded him as their master, while some others, knowing his inner self to be beyond the reach of all activities, either physical or mental, and therefore resting in eternal peace, gained eternal peace in him. Blessed were indeed the inhabitants of Sri Vrindavan, who had such an easily reachable God among them. There are many philosophers who regard Sri Krishna to be the highest God, higher than Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the preserver, and Shiva, the destroyer. For they say that these latter gods have certain duties to do, and as such, they should be regarded as servants and not gods. And servants to whom? To Sri Krishna, who with flute in his hand merrily sings away his time, leaving the duties of creating, preserving, and destroying to their hands. Can the loving servants who surround a master ever bear to see him working in their presence? The desire of a good servant is to see his master never troubled in any way. So how can the innumerable devotees who surround God ever bear to see their beloved bound in chains of duty? Hence, we must have to conclude that God is beyond all duties. And if that God ever does any work, it is simply playfully. This is the reason why these philosophers regard the Sri Krishna Vrindavan as altogether different from the Sri Krishna Mathura and Dwaraka, who is a worker and not a master, and therefore was regarded as the incarnation of God, while the pastoral Sri Krishna is regarded by them as God himself.
Thank you very much, Dev, for reading from wonderful passage from Ramakrishnanandaji's writings on Sri Krishna. So, Sri Krishna, the Supreme, attracts. And the very name Krishna means he attracts. Krishna, Karsayati, na Krishna. What does he attract? He attracts our soul. Because he's the manifestation, full manifestation of our soul. So, very word Krishna is attraction. So, who is Krishna? Beautiful verse that we chant before reading Gita, that expresses who is Krishna. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. So in that verse, everything said, he is Jagadguru. He is the teacher for the whole world, for universe. There, he is the universal teacher. His teachings for all mankind, belonging to any faith, any religion, any place in the world. So such universal are his teachings, not confined for particular religion, particular faith. His teachings are for all. He is Jagadguru. And Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, Vasudeva Sutam, he is also the son of Devaki. But what is said in the verse? Devaki Paramanandam is the supreme bliss of Devaki, supreme charm of Devaki, supreme attraction of Devaki. Why it is said that way? Son every mother loves. But Krishna revealed himself to be the supreme God to Devaki. She gave him birth. Krishna revealed the form of Narayana to Devaki, to her mother, that I am not just a child, it's God born because of her prayers in her past lives. And then he was taken away that very night to some other foster parents in Gokula. But Devaki's love for Krishna remained throughout her life. That bliss, that having God as son, that was revealed to her, remained as her bliss, as a support for her life. Otherwise, it was very terrible. All her 7 children were destroyed, were killed by the cruel Kamsa. He was the 8th and taken away from her. She was without any child. But Krishna was supreme bliss, Devaki Paramanandam. So for Devaki represents every devotee, every mother. Krishna is the supreme bliss for every mother, for everyone that loves Krishna like mother. Every devotee's bliss is Krishna. So, and what did he do? He was so powerful. In very young age, when he was just teenager, he killed great tyrants like Kamsa and Chanura. So that was the power of Krishna. It was not the power of a human body. It was the power of divine soul that came to protect the humanity, to remove all the difficulties of mankind. Kamsa Chanura Mardanam says, whatever difficulty we may have in life, if Krishna is with us, he will protect us, remove the obstacles from our problems of our life. Kamsa and Chanura, though physically were the demon-like persons, but sometimes they're in our mind, are like those demons we do not want to go. Anger, jealousy, all these are the Kamsa and Chanura, Ravana and Kumbhakarna, they are in our mind. How to get rid of that? It becomes very problematic. They give us trouble so much. They take away our sleep. They take away our rest because of certain jealousy. We understand that jealousy has crept in us, but we are not able to get rid of that. We can understand the infatuation has come to us. Fear has come to us. How to get rid of that? Then you remember Krishna, God, our Ishta, our chosen ideal. He is powerful because he has done in the past, removed great, powerful these demons in the human body, so they can remove such things. Kamsa Chanura Mardanam. This adjective for Krishna, this act of Krishna in the verse reminds us there is someone who will be helping us to remove all our worries and anxieties and fear from our mind, and we can regain peace as by removing the Kamsa and Chanura, the justice and peace was brought back in the world, and then Vasudeva had become the king. He had gained the kingdom, he had become freed, and the Kamsa's father had regained the kingdom. So that's how it is described. And Sri Krishna himself says, God takes form. Sambhav yuge yuge sambhavami. I become myself. That is the word. I create myself with the creator. It is Krishna. Comes again and again to what to do? Vinashaya, duskritam, to remove the obstacles, to remove the difficulty, to remove the duskrita who are the wrongdoers, evil persons, to remove them, to destroy them. And paritranaya sadhunam, those who are good people, they need support. They by themselves cannot do anything. The good people need support, needs protection. That I do. And what I do? Dharma samsthapana. I reestablish the order in the world. That's how Sri Krishna does. Just now it was read that Krishna has no duty. He just comes forth, God without having any responsibility, God of love. What is responsibility of Krishna? What is the avatara? The best, Swami Vivekananda says, beauty of Krishna is the Braja Leela, in the Vrindavana Leela, in the Gokula Leela, when he played with the Gopas and Gopis and the naughty pranks. And that is the beauty of the Krishna Leela. Later on, he performed the duty. He said, Dharma Samsthapanarthaya, we have to come again and again. So that, as Ramakrishna also said, when they don't have to perform any duty, any responsibility, not even dharma samstapana, just spread love and joy. That is what God is. We love God, as they say. When Yudhishthira was asked by Draupadi, we have been in so much trouble, and you still remember God, and you pray to God, you are devoted to God, and God never came forth to protect us and remove the difficulty, our difficulties. Why you love God so much, even suffering so much of difficulties? Then Yudhishthira showed Draupadi the Himalayas. Draupadi, can you see Himalayas in front of us? Don't you love the grandeur and beauty of the Himalayas? He says, I do love, I enjoy the beauty of great Himalayas in front of me. Why do you love? What do Himalaya give you? Nothing. Just we love the beauty and grandeur of Himalayas. Similarly, love for God is irresistible. We have to love God because He is our soul manifested outside. And soul, we are bound to love ourselves. There is no way we cannot love ourselves. We cannot love anything else, but we will be loving ourselves. That is the basis of love. Love of our own self is inevitable for human being. What they say in the Upanishads, what human being loves is he loves his own self. After connecting others and seeing own self knowingly or unknowingly, perceivingly or imperceptibly, the person loves other beings. Nava are pati kamaya pati patyu kamaya pati priyo bhavati atmanastu kamaya pati priyo bhavati. Wife loves her husband not because he is husband, but because he is her own self. Her own self wife projects in the husband. That's why so much love wife gives to her husband. And in the same text it says, Nava are patni kamaya patni priyo bhavati atmanastu kamaya patni priyo bhavati. Because husband sees his own self in wife, in children, in relatives, in anything that we project love is because we project our own self. We also say, my son, my wife, my husband. That my is connected. My makes our own self projected. My world, my country. Wherever you have seen love for which we can sacrifice, there's something my. My is the I in manifested as country, as neighbors, as our relations. All that is my. That is the soul is the one object of our love. And Krishna is the soul fully manifested. They say 16 parts. If God has 16 parts, all 16 parts of God has been revealed as Sri Krishna. Shodasa Kala Purna. That's what it is said. God may manifest in certain part. When God manifests, there is great attraction. When full manifestation is there, then there is the supreme attraction. We know how Sri Krishna's love for attraction of gopis and gopas in Vrindavan. Swami Vivekananda warns that what is projected often, the love of gopis and the Sri Krishna as love between man and woman, is not right love. It is love between a devotee and God, because in love of gopis there was no sensuality at all. It was devoid of any sense of your own feeling that I am a boy or I am a girl. That type of thing was not there. And moreover, gopis were quite elderly. Krishna was young, and that love was just the divine, pure love that we have to remember. Swami Vivekananda says, if we are not free from the thought of lust, we cannot understand the love between the gopi and Sri Krishna. How much attracted were gopis to Sri Krishna is described in the Bhagavata. Whenever they heard the flute of Krishna, they left everything of their household, their wives, their mothers, but they left all the things, and it is described in such a way. Sri Krishna just played the flute, and they all rushed to them, as Swami Ramakrishna said, like the flies rushing to the flame. That attraction, when fly rushes to the flame, flies perish. But when gopis attracted and rushed to Sri Krishna, they gain their life. Sri Ramakrishna gives a very beautiful example of a bee, a fly, and nectar. And he asks Narendranath that if you are a fly and there is a nectar, how will you enjoy the nectar? Swami Vivekananda, Narendranath, and Swami Vivekananda says, I will sit on the rim of the cup and stretch my neck and drink the nectar. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, why sitting at the rim of the cup? Why not plunging in the nectar itself? Then I will get stuck there and will die. Sri Ramakrishna says, no, my child. This is nectar. There one doesn't die. If one goes there, one becomes immortal. All death vanishes. That is what the nectar is. Sri Krishna is that nectar. It is not the flame where attracted by its light, the flies come and they perish. Here, there is no perishing. One gets the full, final, blissful life when they come to Sri Krishna. And how were they attracted? They say that the mother was feeding her child, and she keeps the child down and rushes to someone was doing some service to her husband. She rushes to Sri Krishna. One was cooking something on the oven. She even forgets to put down the utensil from the oven down. She rushes to Sri Krishna. That was the attraction of Krishna to the gopis. It shows how the devotion should be, how much our love for God should be. God should be the top priority of our life. Then only we will enjoy the nectar of the divine. We will enjoy the bliss of God. If we have divided love for God, we love God and also we love the world, then we will not gain the full attraction of God, full love of God. That being mad with love, Sri Ramakrishna loved this word, be mad with love for God. Mamai Dema Pagal Kore. Oh God, oh Mother, make me mad with thy love, with the song. Sri Ramakrishna said, that is my ideal. So being mad with love. So that is what attraction of Krishna that is shown. Nowhere else we find such display of attraction towards God except between the relationship between Gopi and Krishna. The leader of the Gopis is Radha, and Radha is an ideal devotee. So Radha is not the lover of God, not anything else. That's what they say. That Radha's love for Krishna was so much, and Krishna knew that love of God is enjoyed when you love like Radha. And he had that feeling that Radha enjoys love of God more than being God himself. And God wanted to enjoy that love. How will be Radha's love? Full 100% love for God, giving everything, no ego of her own. Only God, only Krishna exists in her life. I want to taste that love. Krishna thought. It was so higher love that God wants to experience that love. And they say God was reborn to love, to experience that Radha's love. And that was the incarnation as Sri Krishna Chaitanya or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Was that incarnation of Krishna. As Radha loved Krishna, he wanted to love Krishna as a devotee in that form. So that is the attraction of Radha's love for Krishna. Gopi's love for Krishna ultimately shown. Love of Krishna by Yashoda. How much Yashoda was all thought of her baby child. And sometimes she knew that child is divine. Krishna showed whole universe in his mouth when he was just crawling. Yet she used to forget that. And she said, if I do not take care, who will take care? He is the one who takes care of whole universe. But so wonderful, sweet Leela of Sri Krishna is there in the Vrindavan, in Gokula, that Yashoda runs after him and says, God, my son, oh Krishna, oh Gopala, take this yogurt, take this butter. They were cow herds, and that was the main food that they used to have, milk and the yogurt and the buttermilk, butter. Those were the food, and they used to get. And Krishna used to love that. How wonderful is the pranks as baby Krishna, how they used to steal that yogurt and butter from the neighbors, all they made the group, and they used to go and break this thing, the pot, and they get those things. Not that Krishna didn't have in his own home, but he wants to visit their house, to their neighbor's house. And Krishna's coming is so wonderful. Just in the name of, you go there. One person had wonderful orchard, and a lot of apple were there. And kids used to come, and he used to be very angry. Why do you come to my orchard? Why do you pluck apple? And somebody told that person, why do you scold these children? They come and they play a little. Everyone there, everyone has so much. You have so many apple trees and so many apples. These few come and pluck some. They play here. Why you get annoyed? Why you want them? Why you do that? Scold them. He said, I scold them because I want them to come here and play in my orchard and pluck my apple. If I say nothing, they will not come. Because I scold, that's why they come again and again. They enjoy that. It is a play. Like that, Sri Krishna used to go and play. And whenever God went there, that was joy of visiting them. Few parts of yogurt might be broken, but that is the fun that is to be remembered always. Leela is short. After a few years, Krishna will be gone from there to Mathura, and from Mathura to Dwaraka. Few years of Vrindavan Leela, so sweet, so attractive, so much. Swami Ramakrishna said that was the special manifestation of God when he had nothing, no responsibility, no dharma samsthapana even. Some stories of how demons were killed, to when Krishna protected himself, and all saw the glory of demons being killed by this young baby who was in cradle. That time itself, he was being attacked by different evil forces, and Sri Krishna all removed them. But what is the beauty of Vrindavan Leela is pure attraction of God without anything, nothing, even dharma samsthapana, no creation, preservation, and absorption of this universe, nothing, just God with pure attraction, supreme attraction for all is most manifested there. How Sri Krishna was attracted, this Sudama, episode of Sudama, if you remember, Sudama and Sri Krishna were friends in Sandipani, where they studied together when they were young. And they had nothing, Sri Krishna had nothing to eat. And Sudama said, do you have something? Sudama was chewing some chickpeas. And he said, no, I also don't have, my mouth is, and it was very little, he was very poor. And he said, my mouth is just chewing because of cold, like that is happening. But he was eating something. Sri Krishna knew. And that was all the pranks. What will God will have do the thing? He was so poor, but he was so friendly. After some time, this Sudama, he became poor. Krishna became king of Dwaraka. Sudama's wife said, your friend has become king and you are so poor. Go and meet him. He will help you. He said, how to go? He's such a big person now. Now I am so poor, unknown Brahmin in the village. And he said, go. So give some gift. She gave what she will give. She gave like few, like the flattened rice, or they say moody or chile, whatever you say. Some say cook, the different story. Some say the grains of rice. And she went there to Dwaraka, king. And Brahmin came, they were not allowing. Krishna saw and said, oh, Sudama has come, let him in. Whole time, if we have ever been to reunion in school, I saw once reunion. After, the student had passed in Purulia. As you said, I was in Purulia, it was a residential high school. And they were coming after 30, 40 years. And all, when they came, they were all talking about when they were the teenagers there. And oh, we used to pluck to this garden mangoes, and I was caught taking a guava from here, and that Swami was so strict, that teacher was very scolding. All they had become that child, remembered everything that they lived here and enjoyed their whole days. So that's how happens when you meet your old friend. Our case also, when meet our friend, we talk about that. You meet your school friend, you will talk about your time who was there, which teacher did what, who did teach well, he was very strict, he was scolding, that teacher punished. Like that thing we talk, we become that. So here also Sri Krishna remembered Sudama, and Sudama he came, and Sri Krishna said, what my sister-in-law has sent as gift. He said, no, nothing, nothing. Seeing that, how could he present that few grains of rice? Sri Krishna said, there must be something, and he found and he ate that, and eating that, he gifted already. And then without asking, Sri Krishna comes out, that Sudama comes out from palace and goes back to his place in Porbandar. He used to live in Porbandar, Gujarat. And he thought, what will my wife say? I couldn't ask anything. And when he goes, he finds everything had changed, everything Krishna had given. There's one beautiful poem in Hindi written about this Sudama and Krishna. He said, when Sudama came to Sri Krishna saw the condition of Sudama and started shedding tears. And as the custom was, whenever guest came, they used to wash feet of the guest. And Sri Krishna had water to wash the feet of Sudama, and says, Pani parata ko hath chuyo nahi, nayan ke jal se pagat hoye. Paga means feet. Sri Krishna washed feet of Sudama, not with the water in the parata, in the water container it was there, but nayan ke jal se, from the water of his eyes, from the tears, Sri Krishna washed the feet of Sudama. That was love between this old Brahmin in his childhood time and Sri Krishna the king. That was Sri Krishna, never forgotten anything, always kept in mind. And that is the beauty of friendship of Krishna with even poor person. Friendship with great warrior Arjuna. How much was that thing? And he was unfailing friend of Arjuna. Arjuna, whatever he needed. And when Arjuna and Duryodhana went together to seek the help and the support of Krishna, then Krishna had to give whatever the first came. And when both of them said, he saw Arjuna first, but Duryodhana said, I came first. Duryodhana was standing near head. He was an egoistic person. Arjuna was standing near feet. And Arjuna, what do you want? You want my support? Duryodhana said, I came first. I have this thing. Now what Krishna will do? He was friend to Arjuna. So he immediately thought something to do. He said, on one side will be my whole battalion or army. On another side, myself, single without any weapon. Whom do you want? So naturally Duryodhana liked the weapon, army and weapon. He didn't know the power of God. And what was needed for Arjuna, Krishna gifted that to Arjuna. Arjuna, if he had chance, he would have asked for Krishna. That he was unfailing friend. Without Krishna, do you think Arjuna could win that Mahabharata war? Though he didn't support, he didn't have any army or weapon, anything. But how much guidance Krishna gave, and he saved every movement, every time to Arjuna, guiding him, reminding him the things. You remember the fight between Karna and the Krishna at the end. Krishna said there's a fight between Karna and Arjuna, and Karna's chariot broke, and he had no weapon. And Arjuna said, battle rule says, no, I cannot shoot him. Then Karna was invincible. He was more powerful than Arjuna. Arjuna was no doubt very powerful. There were greater archers than Arjuna. Krishna knew this, and he said, shoot him. Who will guide that? He said, how can I do it? It is against the law of battle. He says, you are remembering law now? What was the law when Abhimanyu was killed? Did Karna always follow the rules of battle that you are following? That has been our this thing, following dharma sanstapana. It has to be done to establish the dharma. People like Karna, who was on the side of adharma, that has to be vanquished. So he always was at the guidance. Arjuna would have utterly failed if Krishna was not on his side. That was Krishna's love for Arjuna. He never failed the friendship, always was with him. And finally, the message of the Gita, though Arjuna was just as the verse says, Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta. The Krishna's message, the Gita was meant not for Arjuna, but for all the devotees, all the wise persons in the world. Sudhi Bhokta, that milk that came from Krishna, the milk of the Upanishads, that was meant not only for Arjuna. Arjuna was inspired, no doubt. At the end, he said, Nasto moha smriti labdva tvat prasadam achyuta. Oh Achyuta, oh Krishna, by your grace, I have now regained all my memory, what should be done and what not to be. What is my duty as Kshatriya? By your grace, I have gained. And now, Karishye Vachanam Tava, I will do whatever you have guided. That Krishna's guidance of the Gita made him follow the right path. And Krishna, that Gita is meant for the whole mankind. So impartial. There is nowhere once even told it is for particular people of particular faith, for Hindus or for Sanatana Dharma. Nothing is there. It is for whole mankind. The message of the Gita is eternal truth. That do this, you will get this result. So that Gita was given, unfailing friend of Arjuna. When everything fails in life, it is Krishna which protects, which supports, which is the savior. Sri Krishna is the savior of mankind. We find such stories in Draupadi's life. How Sri Krishna saved Draupadi. One was that Vastraharana, Chiraharana thing, when Draupadi was being insulted in the court of Kauravas. That was when everything failed, when her attempt failed. Then finally she remembered Krishna. Krishna, please protect me. And protection came. Krishna came running. In Holy Mother's life also, you remember? Holy Mother says, when anybody calls me mother, and I cannot stay back. I have to come to help that person. Mother, I cannot do any more. And mother come. Mother, can you give me this plate of food to be taken to Sri Ramakrishna? Mother says, yes, child, take. She doesn't think of the consequence. Who is she? What is her character? But she says, Mother, can you give me this? Finished. One brahmachari had gone to bring some grocery from a nearby village, too far away, like 5-6 kilometers away. And in his thing, he took so much grocery, it was too heavy, and he had to carry on his head. And while carrying, he thought, I will carry for mother, and mother will be happy. After a few meters, it became so heavy that he cannot now carry. Now he cannot put. There was no any vehicle. It was the old time, no bullock cart even. Now how will he carry? So it became painful on his neck, and he was paining. Finally, he said, Mother, I cannot hold it anymore. Just he remembered Mother and said, I cannot do. Please help. And suddenly he felt it has become light. And he walked easily with the same load to Jairambati from that place. So like that, when you say mother comes. And Krishna, he remembered, Krishna came. And he saved Draupadi from her being insulted. Like that is Draupadi has many instances. When Durvasa came to Draupadi in the forest and said, we are so many with my disciples, we are very hungry, we are going to take a shower, prepare food for us. No grains were there. And Durvasa is a very angry rishi.
When if doesn't his wish is fulfilled, he can curse anything. Draupadi was terribly upset. No grain was left that day, nothing was left, and what to do? Now when nothing is there, no help, mother we say, and Draupadi says, Krishna, Krishna, now again problem. How can I manage this situation now? Krishna appears in the forest. Why do you remember me? This is this thing. So do you have anything that you can feed me? Nothing left. We all finished. Something will be there. He said, let me see your utensils, your pots in which you have cooked. And he found a small piece of grain or some green that is sticking to the pot inside. And Krishna took it, ate it. He said, wow, what a tasty, delicious thing. And I feel satisfied with your cooking. I am full. And rishis came and said, no, sorry, I tell you to prepare food, but we all feel full. When God is satisfied, everyone is satisfied. Tasmin tuste jagat tustam. It is said in the puja thing, in the scriptures, but that is so true. So how Sri Krishna was always a savior for Draupadi. Krishna was an ideal householder and ideal sannyasi. We often make distinction between sannyasi and householder. Sri Krishna made that harmonized sannyasa and householder. Yeyasa nitya sannyasi yona dvesti na kangshati. Not that one will have to do viraja homa and renounce everything. I give up from today, everything, the whole world, I have no relation. And you take ochre robes and call Swami such. That is not the real sannyasis, not the eternal sannyasis. No, the eternal sannyasis to be those who do not have any animosity, any envy, na dvesti, na kangsati, and do not have any demand, any expectation. So those are real sannyasis, free from expectation and free from animosity with anyone, friendly to the world, to everyone, and have no desire, no want, no expectation from anything, not anybody, not anything from his own body. Let the thing happen as they are, ever contented, ever satisfied with life, always blissful. Swami Vivekananda said, first sign of spirituality is cheerfulness, joyfulness, and that comes from contentment. No complaints with anything. Oh, I am sick. We often have so much complaint with the government, with the neighbor, with our own family, with our children, and these complaints make us sad, anxious. And when we have no complaint and we accept the world as it is, world is for very short time. We are born and see we are already so old, many of us, and after a few years we'll be gone. That much is life. Someone was saying very nicely once, Kripamayananda. He said some Swami told him, you have seen the tomb where it is written like the life of a person in the tomb. Person, this name, and born 1946, died 2001. 1946-2001. What is life? Life is the dash between 1946 and 2001. That dash is the life. So that dash short is life. Swami Vivekananda also says life is short. The vanities of the world are transient. They alone live who live for others, who think for others, not for themselves. When we are selfish, self-centered, then we think for ourselves and life becomes terrible. When we think about others, life becomes joyful. So this short life, we have to find the joy in life. And how to have that joy? Na dvesti, na kangshati. We all become sannyasis. The great, free from all worries and anxieties. What? Who is a sannyasi? Who is free from all worries and anxieties, free from expectation of the future for anything that has been done in the past. You are always happy. So this is how Sri Krishna harmonized the householders and sannyasis. He harmonized karma, yoga. He harmonized everything. That's one topic that we discuss. Swami Vivekananda says, every moment of his life, he is alive with activity, either as a gentleman warrior, minister, or something else. Always Sri Krishna is active, never tired. That is Sri Krishna. You'll find some of the serials shown about Sri Krishna, how always smiling and acting and never worried, never anxious, and always finding solution, doing tremendous work because he was himself yogi. And in the Gita, Sanjay said, he was not mere yogi, he was Yogishwara. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara. Last verse of the Bhagavad Gita. He was the Lord of Yoga. That is Sri Krishna. And that's why he was never worried, because he was always in communication with Lord, with God. If you see him as a human being, he was in commune with God. If you see him as God incarnate, God himself. So he was unattached to anything in the world or anyone in the world, and he was always cheerful. He opened the door of religion for everyone, every caste, every gender. That was Sri Krishna's another gift that we have, how Sri Krishna helped us to make society as one. Earlier there was some, before Sri Krishna, we consider Sri Krishna's advent and his life or about 5,000 years ago. But what did Sri Krishna do? He gave the right of spiritual practice for everyone. Some of the Hindu society of that time, the society were denied to study the scriptures. Vedas, they had no right to read and study, and they had no right to worship God in a certain way. They had no right to take even sannyasa. So of the society, not all had right. So somehow it was done that way. Sri Krishna says, Striyo Vaishyas Tatha Sudras Tepi Yanti Parangatim. Everyone has right to the supreme position of spirituality. They may be women or the people of Vaishya, lower caste, or Sudras. No distinction between human beings as far as the right to practice spirituality is concerned. That's why Swami Vivekananda said, first women, mother and women, then father and his sons. I want first a women's mud to be built. As the Holy Mother in the center, women will rise, and then the India will rise, and the whole world will find path to spirituality. That was Swami Vivekananda found that all distinction was taken away by Krishna himself. Later on, again, the wave came, and again, in medieval time, you find that thing. But after that, Sri Ramakrishna came, Swami Vivekananda came, and all the distinction between gender or the caste or the class or the people was taken away, and making the whole humanity as one unit. Humanity, not only a particular country. Swami Vivekananda says that since India discovered the world, nature, someone we are pure, and other from other countries are different. They are not of our own being. They are natures, and we are Aryas. So that distinction, that they discovered the world, the nature, that day downfall of India began, making oneself separate from others, making oneself distinguishable from the humanity. We, as a spiritual seekers, a spiritual being, be one with whole humanity. Our goal is to be one with whole universe. Our goal is to be one with God, which is the sum total of everything. And we distinguish ourselves as belonging to this particular faith, this particular nationality, this caste, and this gender. It's too mean a thought. That's what Sri Krishna brought, Swami Vivekananda developed. Sri Krishna is, his charm is, Bhagavan. Sri Krishna is Bhagavan. It is said, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is God himself. Every incarnation is God. As I said, Shodasha Kala Purna, as they say to Krishna, Krishna is God himself. Who is God? Who is Bhagavan? Bhagavan. Who is Bhaga? Van, when you have some Matu Pratyaya, it is called in Sanskrit. Van or Man means he has that. Like Buddhiman, Balavan. It's all Matu Pratyaya. Who has Buddhi is Buddhiman. Who has Dhanam or the wealth is Dhanavan. Hanuman. What is Hanuman? That's also Matu. Who is Hanu? The big lower jaw. Hanu is that. Hanuman. Like that, man or van means that. So Bhagavan, who has Bhaga is Bhagavan. What is Bhaga? Bhaga are 6 qualities. Sad Aishwarya, who has Sad Aishwarya is called Bhagavan. What are Sad Aishwarya's 6 great divine qualities? One is Yasa, glory. They all, the God when incarnates, is full of the glory. What is the glory of Krishna? Not only his glory as the brave warrior, protector, but the glory as a spiritual teacher, a spiritual person, a powerful spiritual source. That is Yasa. Sri Krishna removes can remove all the ignorance. That is what fame or name Yasa. Yasa is one of the bhagas. Another is Rupa, the charm. It's not only the Rupa, the charm, physical charm, the spiritual charm. The spiritual charm is such thing that even the external, it transcends external beauty. Sri Krishna is always described as very beautiful externally, very handsome, very charming. But all the charm comes from inner spiritual manifestation. We love Mother Kali. We love Shiva, matted and ass and all that. But Shiva Bhakta, if you say, who is most Rupavan, you will say, why? Shiva is the most Rupavan. What about Krishna? No, Shiva excels Krishna in Rupavan. It's all about where you get spirituality. When we love someone, that person becomes the most beautiful or most handsome person. Let all others are not that as great because we love that person. That is the Rupavan, whom Sri Krishna is, that his Rupa is his attraction of spirituality. The Yasha Rupa, the third of the Bhaga of the God, Bhagavan is Bala, strength, omnipotent. That is Sri Krishna. He is all powerful. He can protect us all the dangers. He can give us all that we need in our life. He can make us spiritually enlightened. He can remove by his touch, by his wish, by his grace, all the impurities that is in our mind by his power, force of Bala. Dhana, the fourth is Dhana. Yasa, Rupa, Bala, Dhana. 4th Bhaga. Okay, 6 as Aishwarya for to become Bhagavan. So, wealth. What does God lack? Everything belongs to God. Ganga, when we worship God in temples, we say, Lord, I'm not giving you anything new. All that belongs to you, I am offering you to that. Please forgive me for that. Nothing belongs to me. And that's what Dhanavan, because God, the whole universe belongs to God. And 5th one is Jnana. He's Jnanavan. He knows everything. He is omniscient. He's most learned because he knows the very basis truth of spirit. So he is Jnanavan. And the last one of the Bhaga is Vairagya, Vairagyavan. Vairagya often it seems, renunciation, he is not connected with anything. He is, that is not Vairagya. Vairagya is non-attachment. He is not dependent on anything. Independent is Vairagya. When you are not dependent on anything, that is called total freedom is Vairagya. So, Vairagya. Yasha, Rupa, Bala, Dhana, Jnana and Vairagya. Fame and charm and the form, beauty and power and wealth and knowledge and non-attachment. These all 6 together, fully manifested in Sri Krishna, makes him supreme attraction for mankind, taking refuge in whom our life will be successful, will be spiritually illumined, we can become by his grace. That is the charm and attraction of Sri Krishna.